how you get the name
girls come to
Auntie.
you. Yeah, that's how you got the
Yep,
name.
that's true.
When they proposed the name Rich Auntie, I'm gonna tell you, I was like, I ain't nobody fucking auntie. I got my nieces and nephews, but I don't want to be nobody auntie. But at the end of the day, if you think about the younger women that surround you, that you've mentored,
I believe that. Through God, I really believe that.
it's episode number 3 for the Rich Aunties. We're super excited to be here today with you guys. And,
Super
of course, we're
excited.
going to open up with at Auntie's house,
We're
where
at Auntie's house.
what happens at Auntie's house?
Anything goes at Auntie's house.
That's right. We can talk
Anything
about
goes at Auntie's
anything.
house.
So what we going to talk about? What is Auntie talking about today? What have you seen or what have you heard? What's on the streets? What they bring to you this week?
Oh my God, it's been so much going on. It's so much going on. Of course, it's like Super Bowl weekend. Of course, it's Valentine's coming up. Of course, love is in the air. And what
Yes, who
I
doesn't
saw
love?
on Instagram, guess what they're doing now?
What?
And I think it's really a great idea because I did it in prison ministry when I was in prison ministry at the church, writing letters to inmates. So they have
like pen
guys.
pals.
They have, I like pen pals.
Okay.
But they have now on the internet where they have guys. I guess how are they get pictures
Wait a
of
minute,
people?
how are they? What you mean? Like a dating site for felons?
It's sort of like that, I think. I don't think it's like a dating site, but like on the Shade Room, they'll have like a spotlight of something, and so they've been spotlighting men that are incarcerated and looking for someone to just talk to them and have conversations. And
Okay,
so women
so
are just
I'm okay with that, but let me just say this. Do we know what their prison sentence is? Like, how long are they going to be locked up? Because you're investing time and
True.
energy in
True.
someone who's
True.
incarcerated. So what does that look like as far as from a dating perspective? Like,
You know what? I think you're probably going to get to know them. That's the purpose. They just want somebody to talk to because I know for me, when I was doing prison ministry at the church, we would write to the inmates, and just send them words of encouragement, pray with them through letters. If they had any concerns or something, we pray for them, take it back to the ministry. So I guess if you're incarcerated now and you're looking for someone to talk to, because again, guys, we're in 2023 where anything goes.
absolutely.
So, exactly. So they
Anything.
have it now, which I am very curious as to find out how are the inmates able to take pictures of themselves, because mind you, the inmates look really nice. They're nice looking guys that they're spotlighting.
I've seen some.
Yeah, so it's some thirsty women out here now. It's some thirsty
Or is that
women
thirst,
out
or
here.
is it that there's
Don't
just not
try
enough
to
men?
track my is
Well,
it
I'm
thirst?
just-
It's thirst. It's thirst.
Why is
There's
it thirst?
a lot
It's
of thirsty women
It's a
out
lot
here.
of men incarcerated and not enough men out here for women.
Exactly. So what
So-
they make you when you ain't got enough? Thirsty, hungry. It's a lot of thirsty women out here.
I don't know if I
Whether
agree
you
with
just
that,
Delta, you
Trina.
don't have to, but the truth is the light. Listen, think about it. You just said it. There's a lot of men out here that are incarcerated. Whether they're incarcerated, whether they choose to not be men and want to be gay, men. There's a limited amount, I guess, a selection of men.
Yes.
So for us, of course, we're thirsty. Ladies, don't get mad at me because I said there's a lot of thirsty women. I've been thirsty before too. I just got blessed with a good man, so I understand. But that's exactly the reason why it's like that, because we don't have enough to choose from. There's not a
Right.
big, we have women out here a lot. There's lots of beautiful women out here. I love my beautiful black women. I love my beautiful black women.
Right.
So when I say thirsty, I'm not saying thirsty as in, oh, I got to have a man. I'm saying that we don't have a lot to choose from. So
Right.
of course,
So are we lowering our standards
Um,
by dating a convicted felon or someone who's in prison? Do you feel like the thirst is there because as women, we are lowering our standards for these men to date men in prison? Like, I'm going to say I've dated a convicted felon before that's come out of prison. Never dated anyone while they've been in prison. But, I mean, is that really thirst, though? Is it...
Are you going to continue to try to change the word?
Yeah, I'm just
The word
trying-
is thirst, and it's hungry. That's what we are. That's what you are when you don't. When there's a lack of demand for something, you want it.
Yeah.
You desire it. You
Yeah.
want it. And it's the same way when you want a man. If
Yeah.
a man wants a woman, he's thirsty for a woman. He wants it. And maybe thirsty is not a good word to say, but it's a word that people can relate to, because
Yeah.
I've heard it several times. There's a lot of thirsty women in Atlanta. There's a lot of thirsty women out here in the world because we have a limited amount of good men. men to choose from. And I won't say that it's making us lower our standards, because we have strong black women. We have strong black women. We have strong Latino
Independent,
women.
yes.
Yeah, so I
Women
wouldn't
of
say
color,
that we're
period.
lowering our
Yeah.
standards. I think that it is what it is, that we're in demand. You know, we would love to get with a good man, and if he's incarcerated and he happens
But
to
does
be a
that
good
make him?
man,
Yeah, he might be a good man.
Exactly.
Incarcerated. That's why I said, how
So-
much time does he have? Because if you're investing
getting your
time in
feelings
somebody,
involved.
your
Well,
feelings
that's
are
a
getting
choice.
involved.
You know what I'm saying? That's a choice that
I
woman
mean,
has
does he
to
have a
make.
life sentence and he in there for murder? Like,
Well, baby, I
at the
can't.
end
If
of
you
the day,
if
I'm
you
like,
in there for a
what you
life
gonna wait
sentence, I
for?
can't.
You can't. Are they having conjugal visits? Are you going there and you're able to have sex?
But are you gonna start a relationship with somebody that has a life sentence? That's something
I mean,
to
there's
think
women
about.
out there that do it.
Really?
Yeah, support them the whole time they are.
No,
in
I'm
prison.
saying no, and I'm saying if you go to prison, like I'm saying, if you're dating someone and he happens to get sentenced and he has a life sentence, then yes, of course. But I'm saying, like we're talking about, they're spotlighting men that are incarcerated for women to write them. So if you happen to meet this man today, tomorrow or whatever, and he has a life sentence, are you going to continue to?
I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Now maybe if he was in there for like a non-violent crime, maybe he did some white collar stuff.
Right.
I may be able to wait.
Okay.
I may be able to wait for you if you're out there. But if you are serving more than like 5 years, I don't think I can do it, because that's a lot. You're asking somebody to put their life on hold. You're asking somebody to withhold having sex from other people or meeting other people, and that's kind of hard to do when you're free in this. You're out here free and free to date, and your man's locked up. And then you have to think about, like I said, I've dated a felon before, and they get locked up, and then they calling you random times of the day, that kind of stuff. That's you have to be readily available for this man, because if not, there's insecurities that come with when a man when he can't reach you
Right.
during a certain time.
That's true.
Like, what are you doing? Why you can't take my phone calls? You could be at work. Like, it's a lot that goes into I would think a lot goes into relationships, period. But at the end of the day, dating somebody who's a man or a woman, because it's not just men out there for these pen pals. It's women too, looking for men as well. Life After Lockup is one of the shows. I love that show, by the way. It's one of the shows that showcase, the relationship period, and then the guys are coming out of prison, or the women are coming out of prison, and they continue the relationship outside of those prison walls, and it's different. What I see, the potential of them lasting is not long.
Why do you say that?
Because I think that when men or women, once you've been incarcerated, I think that it has to do with, when you were incarcerated, mentally, where were you? Because I think it stagnates your growth when you're incarcerated. And I think also it doesn't work because your freedom. You're free now. You're free to do whatever you want to do. Behind those walls, you're trying to find someone that will continue to nurture you and support you and inspire you and motivate you, so that when you come out, but when they come out, it's a different life. You're no longer being told what to do 24/7. You can go out here and come and go as you please. I'm sure you might be on probation or parole. I don't know, but I'm just saying. You have to check in with a probation officer, parole officer. I don't know the circumstances. But when you get that freedom to go out here and club and be in the streets, and you see all these different beautiful women and men too, because women, they come out of prison too and date as well. But, I mean, that all plays into relationships.
True. I agree.
You start to see people change up, switch up. That's what I've seen on Life After Lockup anyway.
So, here's my point. You say that when he gets out, the relationship changes.
Right.
Now, the relationship changes. Why? You say that, of course, he meets a lot of other beautiful women.
Right. Freedom. To do what you want.
Okay. But here we are with the women that are out here. And he's a male that's been incarcerated, and he's out now.
Getting
so
that attention,
there's
baby.
a lot of women out here that are looking for a good man. Now, do we know if he's a good man? Do we know if he just got out of prison? No. Because it's so funny, because I heard a story, and I don't know if the person is watching or not, but she was saying she met a guy, and she had seen the guy a couple of times, like in passing, and they happened to kind of meet finally after about the third time of meeting him, and he, presented himself as really a good guy and had himself together. And then the next time she saw him, I think he was at a bus stop or something, and he was had on some, I don't know what she said. I don't know if he had on work clothes or anyway. At the point was he was at the bus stop, but he presented himself to her when he met her that he had himself together. So how do you feel about that? Brings us to another topic. How do you feel about that in relationships? Because of course we are, in Valentine, we are at Valentine and we are at Aunties' house talking about relationships and stuff. So how do you feel about that as a woman? And you meet this guy and he just got out of prison or he just got out of whatever, and he's trying to get himself together, and you and him start to connect, or versus you writing him in prison. Now you just met somebody versus you're writing him in prison and getting to know him. And when he gets out, as you say, everything starts to change. How do what do you say about that to the female? When I say us as women, when I use the term thirsty women, when he gets out, for him, he's been incarcerated for a long time. I mean, a year, 2 years, or whatever for a man is a long time if there's not, any significant, no one to touch, feel, soft body. When he gets out, that's what he's looking for. He's trying to
looking for a woman.
No matter how, I don't know. Then I think about this too. I mean, I guess I have to go back to going to the basics. We are in 2023 where everything goes, but there are still good people out here too.
Oh yeah,
good
just
people
because
that have
someone's
good
been incarcerated
heart.
doesn't make them a bad person.
Right. Well,
I
not
think.
only that, but I'm saying their standards as far as how they want to treat a woman, because he could get out and really be committed to this woman versus another guy could get out and get with a women, because women are looking for someone to get to know, and also a good man. So it's just
I think
the
that
dynamics.
has to do with what I said. Age. How old were you when you got incarcerated? Because what I've seen from my own experience in dating someone that was in prison and then coming out is that you're stuck at the age where you went in. So if you went in your 20s, then your brain is still functioning as a 20-year-old because you've been stagnant for 8 years. You understand? So what do you think a 20-year-old wants to do when they come out of prison?
Exactly.
Bang a lot of hoes.
And then that's so true. But and then that brings us to the point.
Well, what can my number count be? Because I done been in prison for 8 years. I just want to have a good time.
Have a good time.
And exactly. Now, just think of a man in his 40s that's going to prison and maybe serve 5 years, and he's coming out. He might be more mature because he was mature when he went in prison, probably just trying to.
Or he gained wisdom while in there.
While in there. And I'm not saying the young guys can't gain wisdom, because anybody can gain wisdom. But you're still mentally incarcerated as well as physically incarcerated. So that age, I always think that the age of incarceration really does matter for people and where they are as far as their life experiences and knowledge and learning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
true.
I think that has a lot to do with it. But women have to be aware. What we end up tend not to do is look at the red flags. The red flags are there. What is he doing? Okay, so he told you he's getting himself together. I don't think him being at the bus stop is a bad thing. Maybe he doesn't have a car. Maybe he was too embarrassed to tell her he don't have a car. You know what I'm saying? It's 2023.
Right.
He's an older gentleman, I suppose, don't have a car. I mean, you at the bus stop, I respect you because you're going to the bus stop to go to where you're going.
But I think
Getting where you're going.
And we get into the game playing. I think it's the game playing that
that's where them red flags
happens.
come in.
Exactly. Very good point. That you have to pay attention to the signs. Whether they're incarcerated or whether they're out here.
Out
you
here
meet
in
them
these
at
damn
church.
streets.
Right. You have to pay attention to the signs. So
and they're there. They are there.
And,
but we don't let our intuition. What it is that God gave us intuition, and a lot of times we don't use it. You feel it. But you start digging the person. You're like, oh, I really like this person. I want to be with this person.
Because
this person presents to be everything that I want him to be. That's what he's showing me.
So you think.
So you think he's showing
I
me.
really don't think it's a bad thing, though, going back to their incarceration and the online dating and meet someone. I really don't think it's a bad thing as we wrap that up. That to meet somebody incarcerated, and to be able to write them and get to know them. Because as you mentioned, what if that person, I don't think it's a bad thing if they don't have a car, what if they trying to get themselves
Right,
together?
exactly.
But if you present yourself to me in that little moment that I meet you, that you got yourself together, and we talking on the phone a couple of times, and you act like this and you act like that, you really don't know.
No, you
Until you
don't.
really get to know a person, you really don't know if they're who they say they are. So
And initially, you're not telling everybody everything
everything
about yourself
anyway.
I don't have to disclose with you. I don't have a car and I'm at the bus stop. I don't know you.
Well,
And I
you
don't know where this is going.
You ain't got to.
No.
I see you, bro. I saw you at the bus stop. I saw you. You ain't got to tell me you ain't got no car. I saw
But
you
my
at the
thing
bus
is
stop.
this: do
And
you
didn't
when
have
you
a car.
date when you start dating someone, do you tell them up front everything? Like hell, you don't want to tell them everything because you don't know. You're getting to know them, and you're basic. Everybody has a representative of themselves when they start a relationship with somebody. We might not tell you everything, but women are more. I think that women are more honest in presenting themselves than men are. Men will lie, manipulate,
I agree.
and I hate to say this, ladies, but it's rich aunties, and it's just this is a fact. They want to get in your panties, okay? They want to play. So a man is going to tell you only what you want to hear. They know what we want to hear, especially as independent, strong women. You have your own. You know what I'm saying? They're going to tell you what you want to hear, and that's the representative you're going to get at first. So that's what she met. Somebody said, his representative. I got myself together. Instead of telling her, hey, being honest, I just came out of prison. I'm really just trying to get myself together. And I'm looking for a strong woman that can support and help me, inspire me, motivate me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times that's all really you need to say to somebody.
Right.
But just be honest.
Right.
I've been in situations, dating situations. Because I come to you and be like, Trina, this is a red flag to me. Is this a red flag or what? Because if a man can't show you consistency from the beginning, it's something going on there. If he ain't calling and texting, baby, ladies, listen to your rich auntie over here. If he ain't calling and texting you and not showing you the same, the same interest as you're showing them, he don't want you.
And pay attention.
Pay
Definitely.
attention. It's in your gut.
Yeah, there's
it's
always,
right here in your
definitely.
gut. Let me tell you, your gut will never fail you.
Which takes us to Galentine. It's Galentine, ladies. Do you know what Galentine is?
I do.
Why don't we tell everybody
us
what Galentine is?
Go ahead, because a lot of people don't know what it is. And it's really, I didn't know it had a name, but I'm going to just say that I have a group of girlfriends that every year we celebrate ourselves. We didn't have a name for it, but we took ourselves to dinner. We bought ourselves gifts. We might go get a mani-pedi, that kind of thing. We treated ourselves.
Right.
So tell us what the technical term is for Galentine's Day.
Well, I understand that the technical term for Galentine's Day is women celebrating women, women empowering women, women loving on each other. Which is something that, we as women, we all need in our lives. We need that support. We need to celebrate, to know that we're celebrated. We need that love because we're emotional beings. So we need to feel like we're loved. And sometimes you don't get that on Valentine's because you don't have that male or that significant other, not just a male nowadays. Again, it's 2023. You don't have that significant other in your life. And so Galentine is just for women. If you're a single woman or if you're a woman that's, choosing to be by herself for whatever reason, you can celebrate your girlfriends. Y'all get together and you celebrate with each other. Over through the years, I think that's and like you said, we did that a lot. We get together and just go out and eat.
When I first moved to Atlanta back in 2012.
Right.
We were going.
Yeah, and
so
we didn't know.
You didn't have a relationship.
Sure
you was coming out of a marriage. I was coming out of a marriage. We were celebrating life and ourselves.
Exactly.
And then the group of women that I can say that I met through you, because a lot of them like Janice, Cheryl, those women, all positive, all strong, all, women of color, independent, got their own stuff. Like that's what I surrounded myself with, those type of women. And you guys empowered me. Like I came here, and I was just like, gotta buy me a house. Got to do this.
Yeah.
Got to do that.
Right.
Got to raise
Right.
Daul.
Right.
I had
Right.
one more to raise. Got to get him to college. Like, you women really inspired me to be great. And that's what we
Amen.
need.
We
We
do.
tend to get
We
away from,
do.
especially in the, I'm going to say in the color community, because amongst Latino women and black women, we don't support each other.
Right. I agree.
We'll knock each other down and say, oh, this don't look right.
Right.
And even I even say with us starting this podcast, like, I have a lot of friends. I know you do too. I have a lot of followers on Facebook. Like, follow us. What you know what I'm saying?
know.
Inspire us, encourage us,
Exactly.
participate, like
Exactly.
support
I
us,
totally
because
agree.
we are two
I
women
totally agree.
out here trying to do something different, bring you
Positive.
something
Yeah.
positive, encourage our young women
Yes.
that are out here lost. You know what I'm saying? Encourage our young men, because there's a lot of lost young men too.
I
It's a
totally
lot of
agree.
mental health in
I
these
totally
communities
agree.
that we haven't dealt with in our own communities.
totally
So
agree.
it's like, that's what Galentine's Day is, celebrating each other as women.
Women.
And we
Yes.
don't, in our communities, we don't really do that.
I know.
Last night, my girlfriend had something at her house celebrating her closest girlfriends. She brought us all together. And when I tell you, Tiffany, you did it, girl. You did it. It was
Shout out
a
to
great
Tiffany.
shout out to Tiff. Tiff, it was a great event. When I tell you, they didn't even know about Galentine's Day.
Okay.
But we just came together. We didn't know. I said, oh my God, this is a Galentine's Day celebration. Because
is.
me and you had talked about it.
Yes.
And I was like, dang, we've been doing it for years and we don't have a name for it. So we kicked it off this year with Tiffany. And what I want to encourage all the women that were there last night for Galentine's Day, is that we continue to do this
celebrate
every
each
year.
other.
The day, the week before Valentine's Day, that we celebrate each other as colored women out here independently, working hard, hustling, trying to, make passive income, like celebrate each other and what our dreams are. We don't support that. We don't.
We've
we should have a
definitely gotten
vision.
away from
We
it.
should have a vision of what we want to do, what we want to accomplish, and we should be able to I should be able to come to you and say, you've always been supportive of me. I ain't never had that problem with you, and I've always supported you. Like, what do you need me to do? Because that's what we need to do as
Right.
women.
That's true.
We don't do that in our
That is so
communities.
true. I totally agree with you. And then in reference to the podcast and the support from our girlfriends and our friends and ladies, I totally agree with you. Anytime we're doing something as women, it seems like we're always in competition. I think
Right.
we've gotten away from just really recognizing that we're all in this thing and we're all uniquely made for a purpose,
Right.
and what God has for you is for you. What God has for me is for me. So there shouldn't be a competition, but because again, we're in the year of 2023, where now we can go out and we can have our booties made and make them bigger. We can have our waists smaller to make them smaller. We can have our eyes changed. We can put on our weaves. We can do different things to make us beautiful. And that's a beautiful thing,
That
doing things
is,
to
it
make you
is,
beautiful.
yep.
I'm not knocking enhancing yourself, but if you're doing things to make you
Absolutely.
beautiful and you're ugly on the inside, you're not
can't
right on
change
the
that.
inside, then I think that that's something that we as women have to work on first, ourselves. That way
Absolutely.
you're confident in the woman that you are. You're confident in the person that you become. At the age that I am now, Ritch Aunties, the name we got our name from, Ritch Aunties, because of the wisdom, that we've acquired, all the
Yeah.
experiences that we've experienced.
Absolutely.
We've raised males. We haven't, raised, we didn't get an opportunity to raise girls. I haven't
Right.
raised girls. Delcy hasn't raised any girls. So they say it's different from raising girls and boys. It's different. We've
agree.
raised men. So, we've been married. We've had experiences in relationship as wives. And we as women, we sometimes forget about that.
Yeah.
We all have a story. We also don't look at me now because I'm at this place where I got my hair hanging down and I'm beautiful and I got myself together and think that I'm all that, and I put myself to be all that.
Yeah.
Everyone, we all have a story.
We
and I
can.
think
Everyone
have
can
to-
lift someone else up.
I think we
Everyone
definitely
can.
have to keep that
And we
in
don't
mind.
know, even from our era, Trina. Like, I lost my mom later in life, so I had that influence. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of young girls out here that have lost their mothers to drug addiction, cancer, really young in life, and you don't have that motherly support. You can be an auntie or a mentor to a young woman that's out here lost and needs that.
Yes.
We don't give back to our communities and take these young girls under our wings and say, look, I went to college. I got a master's degree. I'm working on a doctorate. Like I put myself in great situations, but I had a great mentor. I had my mother.
Yes.
And then when I went to college, I met wonderful women that was out here doing it. My girlfriend Andre, shout out to Andre Johnson, when I was going through OT school, like she was my mentor. I worked for her, you know, my first internship, and since then we've become very good friends. When I need something, I'd be like, Andre, what do you think? I go to her. Even when Zaul was going to a HBCU, I said, Andre, come in and talk to Zaul. He wants to go to Howard. And she went to Howard. So I was like, great conversation with her and Zaul. So it's like I met powerful women in this life, just experiencing life, and I've kept those friendships. My girlfriends I went to college with, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just like we love each other. We continue to mentor each other and you know and just grow in our friendships with love and but you have to think there's some women out here that don't have that motherly, you know, why we can't mother each other.
Well, I think it goes back to, you know, when you're a child, when you're a young girl. And I think it's important that we begin to reach back as women, as rich aunties, as women of wisdom, that we go back out into society, go back out into our communities and talk to the young girls because that's where it starts.
Yeah.
When you're young, you know, that's where it starts, which is, you know, a lot of, you know, we can bring us on the topic of mental health. You know, we try to talk about, but before we do that, let's do a toast to toast women.
Let's do
because
that.
we've had some really good talk about aunties, rich aunties, and us being women and celebrating each other. Why don't we just take a moment to celebrate women? And it's Galentines weekend, it's Super Bowl weekend.
Yes, let's do that. Let's
yeah,
celebrate. Let's pour.
let's
Come
do
on,
that.
pour it on up, Trina.
Yes, I think I will. We have a little bit of champagne here, you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, and we already, you know, popped the cork, so don't worry. We didn't want to try to pop it and have fizz going everywhere, but we're going to pour us a little bit of champagne.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're going to celebrate women. We're celebrating you men as well. Thank you, because without you guys, I'm not going to say we couldn't make it, but we definitely need you all.
We
in
need
our
men
lives.
in our
Yes,
lives. We
need
do.
you. And shout out
Absolutely.
to my boo. I love you, baby. Hope you're having a good moment at home, getting ready for Super Bowl. I hope everybody's getting ready for Super Bowl.
Yes.
But Delcy and I are going to take a toast. And what are we going to toast to?
We're going to
What are we
toast
talking
to
about? What did I say?
women. Let's encourage each other for 2023. Let's just put this out there, a challenge to encourage each other. Let's not wait till Galentine's Day.
Amen.
We need to get together at least once a quarter.
Once a quarter.
Once a quarter. That's once every 3 months. Get together, support one another. Let's come together and discuss what our visions are, what our dreams are, what we hope to accomplish and acquire for 2023.
Sort of like the vision board.
Sort of like a vision board,
yeah,
but
it's
let's
one
just
man.
have conversations, cocktails and conversations. I went
love
to a
it.
little party. It was great. I mean, it was amazing. Them
She couldn't
ladies
even
had-
get it together this morning,
I
guys.
could not get it together. But,
But she looks beautiful. Look at her.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
I
Look at this
appreciate
beautiful
that.
shirt. Beautiful. My boo.
So anyway, let's just, for 2023, let's challenge, ladies, let's challenge each other to support one another. I don't care. Like I said, once a quarter, let's get together. Take a girls' trip,
Yeah.
a girls' weekend, just
I
to
was
have a
down for a girls'
powwow.
trip.
How about that?
Yes.
Let's put it together, Trina.
Yes. And even-
Rich Aunties is going to sponsor the first one.
Hey.
In
well,
Jesus'
there you
name.
heard it. In
There you
Jesus'
go.
name.
We're
There
going
you
to sponsor
heard
the
it.
first one. The
The
first
first
5
one.
ladies that say, hey, we want to come. I'm talking about, I'm going to pay for your plane ticket to meet us there.
Woo.
How about that?
You heard that, didn't you?
You hear it's coming from me. Delcy said she's going to pay for your plane ticket
Hey.
to come.
Rich aunties,
I don't care if you
baby.
come to Atlanta. The first 5 ladies. Come on, let's
The
do
first
it.
5 ladies.
Let's support one another.
Let's support one another. A toast.
To friendships.
And friendship.
Salud. I love it, Trina.
I love it
So
too.
Trina, let's do that. Rich Auntie's going to sponsor the first trip.
Okay.
We'll have we'll plan maybe for when it gets warm outside, and we'll have an empowering moment, just women of color.
Women.
Let's do it. I'm encouraging my nieces to come Come on, come celebrate with us. Come.
Honestly, I think it'd be a good idea. Like we kind of put like an age group because I think we should go with the young women. Us
That's a
older
good
women,
idea.
you know, we kind of like are set in our
But
ways.
maybe
Not
we
that we
could do
can't
like a
change,
mentor type thing. Have some older
of
women, have
course,
some younger
of
women,
course,
so that we can
yeah.
talk
But
from
it's
a
young women,
lady's perspective. We
yeah.
can target the older women's. Andre, I'm encouraging you to come to Atlanta.
Who's that?
Nisha, I'm encouraging you to come to Atlanta. Kim, I'm encouraging you to come to Atlanta. These are my girlfriends I went to college with.
Okay.
Come on, let's mentor these young ladies.
Hey.
Let's find some young ladies to
Yeah,
mentor.
I think that's a great idea. Reaching out to the
Because you can do
young
it
ladies.
online. You ain't got to be in person. You can do it through Skype. There's got to be a way that we can build up our communities. Girls are out here, I don't want to say giving their bodies away, but we don't realize the worth of our femininity, what we're worth
Well,
as women.
again, it goes back to the conversation that we started off with earlier this morning, Delcy, when we were talking about us women and just how we are celebrating how we are as women. When we're young, think about it. When you're in school and you're like in the second, third grade, it starts there
Yeah.
because children can be really mean. You know, I'm saying they start saying, "Ooh, look at her hair. Oh, she don't have no tennis shoes on. Oh, you get your tennis shoes at Walmart." You know, they start putting this stuff,
Yeah.
and so it comes into our mental,
Yeah.
which is where where everything is lost in the mind.
You're
So you
scarred,
have
yeah.
a young lady that's living at home with maybe a mom that's having a lot to deal with, whether that she's dealing with stuff with the man issues, relationship issues, or she's dealing with something with drugs, or whether she's dealing with something mentally on
Right.
her own, or
Abuse,
whether she's
violence, it could be
exactly. And you
anything.
have a little girl that's growing up that's trying to learn how to become a woman. And so what she sees is what society presents. And what society
Absolutely.
presents is that it's okay to get your body made up. It's okay to get your eyes done and your hair done and all that kind of stuff. But she doesn't know how to love herself.
Right.
And so she grows up looking at the woman that can, the little girl that was able to do that. And so
Right.
that's where the complex comes in, and that's where the mental comes in, and that's how we get to the point of not celebrating one another.
Right.
And that's how we get to the point of becoming thirsty because we
Right.
look at another woman and think that she's got it going on with this man out here because this man is doing this for her and doing that for her and making her think. But yet, if that woman is not whole and complete on the inside, she's still a woman that's wanting more.
Yeah.
She's still thirsty for something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we as women, as she looking at her man, so now we thirsty for her man.
Yeah.
We want her man because he look like he doing the right thing over here to her. You know what I'm saying? Like they got it
He
going
treating
on.
her right. He doing her well. She's
So,
happy.
It starts from, and that's why I think if we're going to do it, I think we should definitely go with young ladies, young
Yes,
women
I
that
think so.
are looking for a rich auntie to mentor them, a rich auntie to kind of help them to understand life, because definitely in the mind is where we lose the battle. Self-esteem, all that stuff is lost.
Yeah.
During those young years, it's lost during those young years. That's why I think it's important that we pay attention to our children. We pay attention to, even our males, not just females, but we pay
Right.
attention because a lot of things happen during the young years, those adolescent years.
Oh yeah, and it transfers into your adulthood.
Exactly.
And that's why I was saying a lot of women our age group, just think the era of crack cocaine and how many mothers was lost to that era.
Yes,
And
yes.
women our age, that's why I think, we have a hard problem with connecting with each other or maybe connecting, with other cultures and nationalities just because we just didn't have that influence. I mean, I was lucky my mom wasn't, didn't get caught up in the era, but we're the era of the crack babies.
I know.
You
We
know?
really are.
We
I know.
really
Yeah,
are.
that's true. We are.
There's a lot of
The baby
mothers that were
boomers.
missing.
I'm a baby
Who was
boomer.
raising the kids? The grandmothers.
Yes.
But what about those that
Yes.
didn't have the grandmothers in their
Yes,
house?
that's so true.
Who do you think they went to? Aunties. Aunties was
Aunties.
raising babies.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? That's
yes,
the
yes,
things
yes.
we don't think about that.
I know.
If you don't
And then
experience
our mom was aunties to somebody. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Our moms was aunties. So it's so important. It's just so important
It
to
is.
recognize that we're all out here in this thing to win it. We're all out here trying to figure life out. You know what I'm saying? You can't outshine me unless you shining brighter. And the only way you can shine brighter than me is that you think you are brighter.
Right.
Because I can think that I'm just as bright as you.
Yes.
And
but
shine
why
just as
can't
bright.
we say that though?
Because
I'm
of
proud
all
of
the-
you. I'm so proud of you because you know what?
Exactly.
You've always had your own salon. You've always run your own business. You've been a boss bitch since I known you.
Ooh, I ain't never even think about that.
Yes,
You got a good point.
but you have been a
that's
boss,
true.
and guess what?
I feel that.
all the women, yes,
Celebration.
and all
Amen.
the
That's the
girls that have
truth.
come through your salon
Are
that
doing
you have
well,
made, let me tell
successful,
you,
black women.
I
I'm
see
talking
it.
about bosses.
I see-
Every one of them. Bosses.
Teaching classes.
You better know what you're saying.
Teaching
Shout
their
them out.
product to
Hey,
other people.
shout out to Bree. Bree doing her thing here by Bree Renee. Bree don't say nothing about me shouting you out because I did. Okay, shout out to Bree. She's very good. I'm
Yeah.
talking about a successful young lady. Lisa Lay's hair, the bomb, the
Right.
goat.
Now, these
in
are
the
girls
salon,
that
coming
have
from
come through
Circle,
your
my
salon.
salon. What's her name? What's the other young lady who used to work with me? Naya. Naya is doing good. Now she's doing real estate, and I don't know if she's still doing hair, but these women started there. You are so
You've been
right.
their
And that's something that I
foundation.
didn't even think about.
Baby,
I didn't even
that's what I'm
register
saying.
that.
You've been a boss
But that's
bitch
true.
all your damn
That's
life.
so true. All because
You've
of the
been
grace
the
of God.
foundation for
Nobody
these
but him.
girls.
Yes.
You've mentored them. Because when I come to the hair salon, it's like conversations going on about men.
Yes.
There's
We have a
conversations
good
going
time
on
in
about
the
women.
salon.
It's
Yes.
like you guys are really there giving your opinion, your advice. You're
Yes.
really mentoring these
Yes.
young girls.
Yes, that is so true. And that's how it started
And
out.
I don't mean
too.
bitch, but I'm
they're-
just saying you doing your thing.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, it's just a term that
Yeah, it's
you know
just
we
a term,
use.
like,
but
you
yeah,
just a
I am.
boss.
I
You
have
a
to say that I
boss
never
at
even
the
thought
end of the
about
day.
that. But you're right because that salon really has brought
have-
forth
you have-
some women that are
yes.
really to
You've
be
given
celebrated.
them opportunity.
Yes.
So for
Yes.
me,
And
like
they've
you've
done their
always
thing.
been, you've been that chick.
Yeah.
You've been that
Hey,
chick.
I can say the same thing about you now too. I can say the same thing about you because you came to the ATL and Dusty is a boss. I don't try to do Dusty, but Dusty is shown up now. Is a boss. Always has been a boss. I mean, came down here and got her stuff together. Brought her 3 sons down here to the ATL. She came down. If guys you didn't know, she came down. Moved from Baltimore. She and I moved together. She had her 3 sons. They came down, and we were all trying to figure out the time because I was kind of going through a separation and figuring life out. I had my son, and we all came together and lived together in this one house. But you came in there and you raised your men, and her sons they're successful young men.
Thank you.
One of them is the reason why we're doing our
Yes,
podcast right now. He's behind the cameras doing his thing. The other one is
14
about to become
golds.
a damn millionaire, getting houses, and the other one is about to become a runway model, getting his life together. And my son Jay is getting his life together because he's going to produce and be everything that God says he's supposed to be. So you yourself, we came together in that house. And we worked hard and did some things. And you started with one job and you went from that job to this job, to that job, to this job. And you work your way up to the top of where you are now.
Yes,
Can
thank
boss
God.
for real. And I'm talking about people when Delcy was working, I used to always tell her because her jobs would stress her out. And I would be like, Delcy, just relax because you're good. You're smart. Don't let them people stress you out. They need you. You're smart.
See, that's
and
what
look at
you
where she
empowered
is.
me. You inspired me. You motivated me. And
Prayed
you
with her and
encouraged me.
everything.
You
That's right.
pray for me in instances when I could tell you that I was ready to walk away.
I know.
And we prayed.
Sure did.
Trina said, Delcy, get in your closet, baby, and pray. And I did.
Prayer
And guess
changes
what?
things that
Let me
people do.
tell you something. This one right here, and I say it to everybody that knows Delcy, and I've even had some people say, but you can pray too. But it doesn't nobody pray like my girlfriend right here. And when I tell you, when she prays for you, it's an anointing because it happens. It manifests. I prayed to Trina, and I'm going to bring this story up because I bring it up all the time. I tell Ron this all the time.
What?
Trina, I was at work and I was going through something. I had a VP that was just like riding me, and I had a director that was just, that VP was just riding her. So she was just, that anxiety and that tension just transfers over to your employees. And at that time, that job was so stressful to me. It was at a point where I was like, I'm going to walk away from this. And Trina was like, no, we're going to pray about this. Amen. And I kid you not, on my mama, I came to work the next day, and the director said, we had a meeting, and she said she was leaving the company. And I said, look at God. Yes. But I still had that VP. I was still praying about her to be moved. And I'm saying this, I'm being very transparent. That VP, I prayed about her, and I said, it's either going to be me or her. And God said, you ain't going nowhere. This is where you're supposed to be. This is where you were supposed to land.
Amen.
Okay, and guess what? 2 weeks later, that VP was gone.
Sure
So
was.
it's like but Trina really encouraged me. She was like, Delcy, you're smart. You're Latina.
Yes.
You don't need to go nowhere.
Yes. Beautiful.
You need to show them.
Classy.
You need to show them that
stylish.
you know your job and you know your job. So
Yes.
don't let nobody tell. But that's
right.
what encouraged me to stay. You didn't know this at that time, but I was mentally struggling.
Feeling some kind of way.
with-
You make me want to cry.
Yes, I was
Thank you.
mentally in a struggle with myself. Like, is it me? Am I not good enough? I'm working with these people. Do they not see my worth? But you really made me notice at that time. You really encouraged me. And one thing I could say that you really was my cheerleader when I needed one.
Yes.
And you taught me how to self-advocate for myself.
Amen.
Because I wasn't advocating for myself. I wasn't saying, this is what I've done. Because as brown and black women in this corporate world, we don't do that. We don't advocate for ourselves. We don't say, but I'm going to tell you, our counterparts, let me tell you something. Our counterparts are going to say, I've done this, and that, and I brought this business in here. But I wasn't doing that. I wasn't advocating for myself. But that conversation that we had that day, and we prayed about these two people, and God removed them, and I say, on my mama, y'all. God removed it on my mom. God removed these people. Me and Trina prayed about it. And it's been nothing but up from there.
Since.
But you encouraged me at a time where I needed it.
Yeah, and that's what
And
we're
you didn't
talking
even know,
about.
like, where I
Didn't
was
even
at,
know.
what place I was
Didn't even
in.
know.
I was going through, relationship stuff, and I was just like in a place where I was just like, I don't think I fit in. I don't think I should be here. But I was like, I've been here. Everybody that knows me, I went to OT school. I wasn't practicing as a therapist. Like, at that time, I was just thinking, this is my livelihood. This is where I make my money. I make very good money. And I got to be out here really struggling. They put me through a lot. Is it because I'm Latina? You start to think about stuff like that because
that's true.
when you're in this corporate world as a woman of color, it's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
And if you don't see women like yourself,
That's
let
right.
me tell you something. At my company, I have been blessed to see women of color in powerful positions.
Hey, I love it.
Very much running the company. And that's what I like to see because I see myself.
Yes. And that's what it's all
That's
about.
why we need to encourage. That's
exactly
why at your jobs, always find you a mentor. Always find you a woman that looks like you, has the same background as you, because that woman can encourage you and help you grow. You know what I'm saying? In your field.
And then sometimes, Delcy, we're dealing with stuff and we won't share it. And so it's like you'll feel like that person thinks they're better than you, or that person, is sitting on a pedestal, or that person has a bad attitude, or that person is bougie, or whatever, the way they're presenting themselves.
Right.
But a lot of times it's because they have never had a woman to come up to them and say, hey, you look so pretty today.
Right.
You are beautiful.
And
You
you're
know what I'm
smart.
saying?
You're
They're
intelligent.
they're constantly
You're this.
dealing with passing by probably women, and maybe that's not true, but I think it is, because sometimes you for me, going into a room, if we're somewhere, and let's say we're going somewhere and we're out at a club, and we walk into the space, or we're at a little grill spot, eating restaurant, and we walk into the place, and of course, if you're a beautiful woman and you with a bunch of beautiful women, of course, the attention is gonna, people gonna stop and look. It's just natural.
Right.
If you're smelling good and looking good, I don't care if it's a man or a woman, you're gonna get a little attention.
Yeah.
But we as women, we looking each other up and down, and you go in the bathroom and you got some tissue on your shoe.
Nobody.
Now you sharp as a tack, beautiful. And you got some tissue on your shoe, but I take the attitude to say I'm not telling her nothing, because she done walked up in here with her attitude. She can walk right on out there with that tissue on her shoe.
That ain't
but
you,
no,
though.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I can take the attitude, but as women celebrate each other. Look at her, she's beautiful. You don't know what she's
you
dealing
looking
with.
good. Get that tissue off the bottom of your shoe.
You got some tissue on your
baby,
shoe.
you bad tonight.
Because she's beautiful and she's got herself together, but we don't know what she's dealing with.
Absolutely.
We don't know what's going on up in her mental. Exactly. And to have another sister, whether she's a black woman, a white woman, a Latino woman, I don't care, to have another person come up to you and say, hey, you look good, you're beautiful. you're so pretty, you smell so good. That can just take her
Oh my
to another
God, it
level
sure
that night.
can.
You know, it can make her feel much more incredible,
Right.
which makes her hopefully will tell it to the next woman.
Right.
Because she'll feel
Pave
like,
the
and
way
we're
for
not, there
somebody
you go.
else,
That's
baby.
right. That's right.
And
And that's what
say, you know
celebrating
what,
each other's
somebody,
about.
that's what celebrating each other's
other's
about.
about.
Being able to say, you know, hey woman, you look good.
You look good.
I love it. That's what I love. I could say that's what I love about social media is that watching these women in our age group and just seeing them working out, women of color just out there
Yes.
working out,
Yes.
growing, you know, exponentially in their careers, being bosses,
Yes.
passive income. That's what I want to encourage my girlfriends to do is to be creative and to be, you know, successful and to keep. Because I know a lot of women got real estate licenses. You know, they out here doing it and still working a main job. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
And
But y'all
being a
keep
mom and a
and
wife
a mom and a wife
auntie,
and
you
a
know,
rich
and a
auntie to
daughter.
somebody.
You
And
know?
girl, it's just
Yes.
like you
Yes.
really. I see that. I see my girlfriends. Like I want to always encourage them to do well and say, hey, you know, like for me, I've been on this, you know, journey of my body and just my mind and just eating healthy and just being better for myself.
Right.
And you know, my girlfriends comment like one thing I could say, I know a group of women that are not afraid to say, baby, I see you. Like you looking good. What are you doing? You know, and so that you can encourage them to, you know, oh, this is what I'm doing.
Yes.
This is how I'm eating. This is how I'm working out. This is what
Yes.
I'm putting in my
Because
body.
life changes. You know, as we age,
Baby.
you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna always be where it's gonna be about how we look or how, you know, our
Absolutely.
hair
It's
getting
like,
our hair
yeah.
done, nails done. Of course it may be, you know what I'm saying, but most part, you're those are not really your concerns. Someone told me one time, they said when you're when you're in your 30s and 40s, things that mattered in your 30s and 40s no longer matter in your 50s. And
Yeah.
things that didn't matter in your 30s and 40s begin to matter when you get past your 50s.
Yeah.
And that's so true because as women, like you said, as we age, we're now wanting to become healthy. You know what I'm saying? We're now wanting to continue to keep our skin tight.
Absolutely.
So that we can have to deal, because we're now getting the bags under our eyes. We're now getting the dark spots up under our eyes. We're now getting the wrinkles in our face. You know what I'm saying? We're now getting the turkey necks. I know I deal with the turkey neck. Oh, anybody know how to take care of the turkey? I mean,
I can't with you.
I'm serious. I mean, I don't like
Put it in the comments, y'all.
If I have to do some
stuff.
Botox, I don't do Botox. I don't do any of that kind of stuff, and I don't knock anybody that does it. But if I ever had to have any type of procedure done, it would be to get my neck done, because now I'm gonna have everybody looking at my neck. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. But if you do, tell me, women. If you know something, just shout me out, celebrate it,
Yeah,
because that's what it's all
That's
about.
what it's all
Exactly,
about.
that's what we're talking about. That's
Absolutely.
what Rich Aunties is all about. We're just here to celebrate
And
each
if
other
we
and
are
have a good
getting
time.
work done, we ain't gonna tell nobody because nobody, you know, we don't share our secrets. We gotta share our secrets with our beautiful women
and
of
tell
color.
each other where to
Tell
go.
each other where to go. Where you go get your facials? Where you go?
Right. What are you doing?
Get Botox at? Tell me. I want to know.
How you looking so good? You looking so young. It's like, are you reversing? What is Benjamin Button? You turning the Benjamin Button on us? Oh, I don't get turned.
I want to know what
saying?
you're doing.
Yeah, I do. That's what I'm talking about.
Because one thing I could say is our counterparts talk about that kind of stuff. They talk about the Botox and the fillers and what they're doing is, you know, keep their neck tight. We don't talk about that amongst the women of color.
Don't.
We go do things in secret.
Yes.
And then when you be like, ooh, girl, you looking good. I ain't got no problems with tell nobody what I do. It's non-invasive, but I do it. Women, we gotta spend money on
and that's
yourselves.
what makes you happy.
Absolutely.
Whatever makes you happy. Again, as women, whatever makes you happy, whatever floats your boat. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever floats your boat
and
and whatever makes you happy.
Who are we to judge?
I agree.
My mom used to tell me growing up, and I'm sure she's gonna be watching this because she swear I'm just let my mom tell it, y'all. I'm not gonna let her ever tell anything about it. I love you, mommy. But
we love you, mommy.
My mommy always said, Trina, you just have such a nonchalant attitude about everything, you know. And I do. I've always been like that. And I don't know if that's a cursing. Yeah, I don't know if that's a curse or a blessing. But I don't, you know, I don't have a problem celebrating a woman. I don't have a problem, you know, if you got a problem with me, I don't have a problem not talking to you either. It's all good with me. I just personally though, I just feel like as women, this just me. As women, I think you should do whatever is gonna make you happy. I think if even in a relationship, if you're in a relationship and you feel that this man and we know he's not good for you, we have told you he ain't good for you, but you think that this is
But
what you
wanna
want.
keep
You're
on,
okay with
you
it.
want to keep
Yeah, you
on
want to keep
keeping
dating
on.
him.
The
Then
red flags
today,
is
the
there.
red flags have been there, and you want to continue
drink
with
to
it.
that.
What am I gonna say? What can I say? I love you, and when things don't go right or things do go right, I'm gonna be right there for you. Unless
Absolutely.
you
That's
mess
what
that up.
women, stop putting men in front of your friends. Like, for real. Because we do that sometimes. We forget that the sisterhood is always going to be here. That's one thing I can say about us. That we've been through some stuff when it's come to relationships. But one thing I can say is that it never, we're human. We make mistakes as women, as girlfriends. We're not always gonna say the right thing. We're not always gonna do the right thing. I might come across abrasive sometimes, aggressive, and maybe like, girl, it wouldn't be me. That kind of thing. But what I have to realize is that we're all different and we love differently.
Right.
And our hearts are different.
Personalities are different, all of that.
And we get hurt. We get hurt. Like when somebody tells you, you invest in time in a person, and I'm going to say a man, you're investing time in a man, and then have your girlfriend, you tell your girlfriends what's going on, and sometimes it's like a bashing of, well, I wouldn't do this and I wouldn't do that. But sometimes, we just want to say what's going on so that you'll listen and not have to provide no feedback. Just listen to me. I'm going through something.
That's right.
And my mind might be all over the place because I tend to think that I'm a little bit emotional too. And my mind does seem to wander a little bit. Trina had to reel me back in sometimes.
I do.
Delsey, you think you're
down.
overthinking
Doing
and
too
sit
much.
down.
Yeah, you're doing a little too much now. Just calm down.
But I don't know,
again,
Trina.
that's what
Right.
as women, that's what we have to do. We have to go back to celebrating one another and loving on one another, even in the midst of the infirmities, and in the midst of you not being or doing what I think you should do. It's not about what I think you should do. It's about what is best for you. And if I had to, say anything to anybody based on my life, from the Ritch Auntie perspective, I would say, what makes you happy, it may not make me happy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What makes you happy? Figure out a woman, if I could ask you one thing to do as women, that is know what you want.
Yeah.
In a relationship, on your job, in your life. Yeah, let's drink to that. Know what you want.
Know what you want.
Because
That's a good what was I going to say? Like the first step is knowing what you want. What you
gotta
want
know what
as
you
a
want
woman.
as a woman. Because if you don't know what you want, then you just take and deal with anything. But you don't know what you want, I think, until you've grown and went through some things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to have a little experience in order to know what you want. So I think you definitely have to recognize that wisdom comes from experiences. Going through some stuff. You and I both are in the 50s club. Shout out to all the 50 clubs out there. But I mean, becoming a woman, as Michelle Obama wrote her book, Becoming. Becoming a woman definitely is something that I feel takes time.
Yeah.
Because I think my own personal Ritch Auntie perspective, I think that when you're a female, you're emotional because we're hormonal. You know what I'm saying? And so some days, not to mention your mental, your DNA. And if you got some mental stuff going on, whether it's bipolar, whether it's depression, whether it's ADHD, whether it's ADD, whether it's what
Anxiety,
people deal with,
people suffer
PTSD,
with,
whatever.
anxiety,
You
kinds
have
of stuff.
all of those things that are mixed up in you being a woman. And just to be out here in this life, in this world as a woman, dealing with all that we have to deal with, and then you get a child, you have a baby, and now you got to bring this baby up in the world. You're not ready. You're not together. You know what I'm saying? So know what you want and know who you're having children for.
Right.
If I had to do it all over again and have children, I definitely would never have a child by the man I had my son by. I would not. And I see it live.
Trina,
Would
just
not.
like that?
Would not.
You go back in time and
Would
be like,
not.
you're not the one.
I say it again.
Are you saying that on the podcast?
On the podcast, I would not. Because I feel
Damn,
that as
Trina.
a woman, again, you have to know what you want. And at that
But
time,
did you see the red flag?
Nah, I
Did you
probably
see
should
the
have
red
saw the damn
flags?
red flags when he come up with them damn skinny jeans on. That I probably should have started red flags, but no,
Not the
I didn't see no red.
skinny jeans.
Who was
Back
thinking about red
then.
flags young? I mean, I was young and just out about having fun, fresh out of college and living my best life in Atlanta. I had moved to Atlanta, and at that point, I thought, because I was in my late 20s, I thought that I had kind of figured it out.
Figured
I had
out.
been through some things and recognized that what life is all about. But I really didn't know what I wanted, because if I had knew what I wanted, again, I wouldn't have settled with a man that didn't have a desire or a family type environment inside of him, or a family type spirit inside of
Yeah.
him that make him want to love and be a family man and do what he needs to do for his children regardless of the circumstances.
Right.
And that's what I think is important as a woman. You have to know what you want.
Know what you want.
Yeah,
so that
know that
can
man, if
know
he's
what you want in a
look at
different
him.
person. That's why you have
Right,
to
look
love
at-
yourself.
love
first.
yourself.
Look, this is our tattoo from last night.
Yes, I love it.
Look, y'all. It's an infinity sign with a heart in the middle, and it's for love yourself.
Love yourself.
Your whole lifetime, you have to
definitely.
love yourself before
That's important.
you can love someone else. You have to
Anybody.
love you before you can love someone
Yes.
else. Because when you love you, that transfers to the person that you're with.
Yes.
You want to love on them.
Yes.
Like you want to, spend time with them and just, take in everything that they are, everything that they are as a person, because you love yourself.
Exactly.
And you can pour that love into someone else and inspire them and motivate them and encourage them.
Exactly.
Like I said, as women, that's why it's so important for us to love ourselves first and then love each other and encourage each other and challenge each other to be the better versions of ourselves. I can say in this group of women that I've met in Atlanta, like, have always been encouraging, loving, like I said, through relationships, sometimes you have your ups and downs, because with women, like you said, we emotional.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we always come back together, and we always, we realize that, we women, we emotional. We might say a few things. I'm not always going to say the right things, because I'm just not that friend that always says the right things. I might say the wrong things to you sometimes in the heat of the moment or how I'm feeling that day. But just know that as your friend, you know my heart. I always say that. As your girl, if you don't know your girlfriend's heart, then you don't really know her. You haven't really poured in that girlfriend love into that relationship if you don't know your girlfriend's heart, right?
Yeah. The Bible said the heart tells the motive of the story, so...
and that's
the heart
expressed
is
through
the motive.
actions.
Yeah, it is.
We express our
It
love
is.
through
That's
actions,
right.
just pouring into each other through actions.
Exactly.
Of
And
what
I
we
think
do.
respecting one another.
Oh, definitely.
Respecting one another is very important.
drink
It's
to
very
respect.
important. Exactly. Let me drink to that too. Respecting your girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? Not
And
being
sometimes
so
we can
upset.
disrespect each other, but sometimes we, in the heat of the moment, we say things. I'm that girlfriend. I might say something that might hurt your feelings, or I laugh it off, because I laugh at a lot of things. But it's not that I'm laughing off. If I hurt you in that way, I'm sorry. I'm apologetic, because I could sometimes say stuff and I don't realize
how
it ain't
come
my
out.
place.
Right.
One thing.
Right.
And two is that, do you want my advice or not? Because sometimes we come to you as girlfriends. I come to you so you can listen. I might not want to hear your
Right.
damn feedback
Right.
today.
Right. Just want to listen.
Can you
for
just
somebody to
listen to me?
Mm-hmm.
But as
But
girlfriends,
you got to know, that goes to the point of, you got to know your girlfriend too.
You gotta know
that's
which
what we
one to
talked
go to.
There you go. What we talked about in the first episode
drink
with
to
Rich
that.
Auntie. When we talked about in the first episode with Rich Aunties, there's some girlfriends, there's some aunties you can tell some things to, and there's some that you can tell
Gotta be
everything
judgmental.
to.
You gotta be careful.
So that's important too. But again, ladies, hey, we're gonna wrap this up because it's Super Bowl Sunday,
Yes,
and
and we're
getting
trying
ready
to get outta here.
Get out of here to go and get into some Super Bowl fun. Of course,
Yes, Sunday
ladies, we
fun
want you
day.
guys to know that we celebrate you.
We
And
celebrate
we want you
you.
to start celebrating each other. Celebrate with us. Go out, like, share, comment on the podcast. Let us know
Follow
what you
us.
think. Follow us, please. That's what's supporting and celebrating women. We're women out here just trying to do our thing. I mean, it's just so happened that we out here flying the plane while we're building it. We really are just two women that made a decision and said, hey, let's do this. It's something that we talk wisdom a lot. Let's share it with other people. And that's why we started our podcast. So support us, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what's going on in your area because you're a part of our world. And we'll talk about it here on Rich Aunties. But
yes, and to celebrate the two young men.
Yes.
Black men today, black quarterbacks. I don't care if you don't, whatever you do today, just watch, get them numbers up, watch the Super Bowl. Rihanna's performing. Like, you got to support it today. This is epic.
This is history because it's like the first time that the Super Bowl has ever had two black quarterbacks to compete against each other. So, and Jalen Hurts comes from Alabama. Shout out to Alabama. Yeah, so he's from Alabama. So, of course, I'm going to be going for Jason Hurts. But it really doesn't matter who wins the Super Bowl with me. Jason Hurts.
No.
Oh, Jalen. Well, she doesn't get the prize. So whoever out there caught that, hit me up and don't put your name in the list.
I'm just trying to make sure you see. I'm just making sure y'all get it because y'all
wouldn't even got it.
She could be looking right at the name and mess it up. So I'm just, for those of y'all that are keeping track, that's another one.
Jalen.
That's another one.
I charged it to my mind, not to my heart. I did not mean to mispronounce your name. I promise. Jalen Hurts. He comes from Alabama, and I'm gonna be rooting for you, Jalen. I'm gonna be rooting for the Eagles.
For the Eagles. We're wearing green today. All right, although my Ravens didn't make it, but that's okay. We won't go there.
But today we're representing Galentine.
Yes.
Today we're representing Galentine.
Love.
I love her shirt. I have on my little shirt with the heart, and we both have on our little bubble rings. Check us out.
Yes.
She's got the heart, and I got the red. That wasn't even planned. We never planned. Guys, we never planned to dress alike or to be alike. It just happened. So we know that this is a God thing. We know that God has got his hands over our Rich Auntie podcast. Yes. So you guys just keep supporting us and just keep liking, sharing, and commenting. And hopefully, eventually we're going to start, taking this thing to the next level as far as you guys will take us.
You might see us on TV.
Yeah, because they said if y'all like and subscribe, the more you get, the more notice, the notoriety we get, right? And they'll start paying. I don't know if they start paying you or not, but y'all know, if y'all know me, if I come up, y'all coming up. Y'all know that. For real.
Exactly. So follow, and share. It's not hurting you. Every Friday, YouTube, Spotify, at noon, we dropping this third episode. So come out there. If you come out there and you watch the video, it ain't going to hurt you to like. It ain't going to hurt you to follow. Subscribe. Share it with your people. To all those out there that have been sharing it.
Yes. And thanks for the comments, too. Yes,
I love
had somebody that commented last week and called me fake. He said it was fake, that I wanted to get the ring. I didn't think it was fake. I think it's fake.
He said the relationship was fake because you wanted the ring back. That Trina was going to the pawn shop.
That's okay. I appreciate the feedback. And that's what it's all about, guys. I mean, that's what you got to be able to take constructive criticism as well. You got to be able to recognize that everybody's not going to like what you do and not like what you're going to say.
Absolutely.
It's okay. Give us that too, because that makes us a better and stronger person as a woman. So all of that is needed. We celebrate you. You guys have a happy Sunday.
Yes, happy
Super
Valentine's
Bowl.
Day.
Happy Valentine's. Happy Galentines.
Y'all.
We love you guys. And we're going to say a quick prayer right quick. We're going to finish this drink. Say a quick prayer.
My prayer warrior. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Father. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this podcast, our third episode. And we just pray that again, that whatever we said, that it wasn't said in vain and we didn't mean it. And it was, if anything offended anyone, it wasn't intended to. But just to bless you and to let you know that we as women should be celebrated each and every day of our life. So we celebrate the women and we lift up all the women and all those that are watching today. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Episode number 3.